like we've had a guest every single week, Rob. It's been a while, right?
I know. I think you just didn't have faith in me that I could carry the pod, so you've been loading up on these guests.
I don't know. I think I missed you this week. So, I feel like we haven't had a chance to really talk. I haven't had a chance to make fun of your 19-inch vertical for a while now. Although I guess we have no.
I will tell you, we played basketball the other night, and I got a steal in the open floor and went up off one and hammered it. And I literally I should have just yelled out, like, take that, Goodman. And maybe you would have just like subconsciously been like, wow, I think Rob might have just been hanging on rims.
One of those dolls where you poke, whatever those were.
Like an earthquake hit Massachusetts at the same time.
And that's what it was.
You just knew that I went up there and cracked one.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling good. I'm glad you're feeling healthy, feeling good. We got to win the gold in 3-on-3. So there's no excuses, Rob.
No excuses.
No excuses whatsoever. And you know what? No excuses for the Baylor Bears. The Baylor Bears, Rob, right here. Baylor Bears.
Somebody's not a front runner.
Oh, I'm wearing them. Hey, they lost last night, and I'm wearing them.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
All right, give me credit. The Kansas fans, man, they are on me. They've been on me all year. They think I hate Bill Self, and you can attest to the fact that, like, I don't hate Bill Self, and Bill Self doesn't. He came on the pod.
Yeah, and he came on because you asked him. It wasn't because I did. That's for sure. We were talking about this before, and you think about Baylor, and Kansas has come a long way. And I dealt with this some too, because I had a Kansas game 2 weeks ago where they beat Kansas State. And in the game, I said, I think their ceiling, if all goes well and perfect for them, is the Sweet 16. And at the time, I thought that was fair. I think now you could lift that to the Elite Eight.
Could you go all the way to the Final Four if things break right?
Totally. And part of that is I think there's 3 teams right now that are really good, and everybody else is kind of in a different stratosphere. But when I said that, I had a bunch of Kansas people tweeting me too. At like one win, they beat. I forget who did they beat after Kansas State? God, who was that? They beat somebody decent in conference play.
Yeah, they went through a stretch there. I mean, again, they beat Iowa State early. Then they
had a really easy stretch with Iowa State twice, and then Kansas State, and then they beat somebody decent. I'm trying to think who it was. Regardless, and after the game, immediately, you still think their ceiling's the Sweet 16? And of course, it's fluid. Like, you can play better, and then you can play worse.
Right? You can change your mind. Like we are allowed to change our mind. As like Michigan. Yeah. I didn't think Michigan was very good early. Well, the more like
Michigan's saying that, hey, they're going to finish 7th, because at the start of the year that was fair.
Yes,
and I'm still hearing about that. You are too. But I will say, and I'm defending you here, which I can't believe I'm doing after all the hate I receive on my vertical jump. But that's not the same Baylor team we saw a month ago, and I don't think you can give that type of credit. Now, is it a good win? Yeah, it's a good win. They're talented,
right?
But they were sitting around for a month. They're not.
I don't think it was Baylor, Rob. I'm still convinced that wasn't Baylor that I watched. Well, it was some other team came in there that was not Mark Vidal. That certainly wasn't Jared Butler. I mean, it was not Jared Butler. Like, he didn't show up all game. Yeah. Listen, the other part, Rob, that people don't realize, and I don't know, I said this morning. I don't know if it's caught on yet, but 8 players from Baylor had COVID this time.
Yeah. 8 players. And that makes a big difference. That makes a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
Like Michigan, nobody had it. They were off, but when they come back, you can't compare those two. It's apples to oranges.
Right. My sources said 8 players. So you're talking, some may not have had a major effect from COVID, but again, some you have the layoff, right? You have the layoff for everybody. And then you have some that have the layoff plus COVID, some that just have the layoff, some that may just have COVID and feel okay and were asymptomatic. It's different for everybody, but man, that was not the number 2 team in the country. That looked like a top 50 team last night that Kansas beat. And again, listen, a win's a win. We're not taking it away from Kansas. We're just saying, put it in perspective a little bit here. Now, my biggest concern, Rob, is, well, first of all, I do, and I don't want to, I'm not taking a shot at Scott Drew here, but I think I don't think he made a very smart decision here. Like, I think he should have learned from Juwan Howard in Michigan and said, listen, we're not coming back quick. We're the undefeated team here. Like, we're the Kansas in the Big 12 right now. And you guys should be protecting us. And we shouldn't have to play 2 days after coming out of the pause. Now, maybe it was Scott Drew saying we want to play, because you and I both know Scott. He doesn't like sitting still.
And also, no one wants to lose, but is it really the worst thing if you lose at Kansas? It would have been bad if you lose to Iowa State. There's no doubt about that. But I think that he can use this as a positive, honestly. I know they didn't play well, and I'm sure that upsets him, but I'm sure he's got their attention now. Hey, we were the number 2 team in the country. We had a pause. Not our fault, but it's the way it is. Now we come back. We look like crap against Iowa State. We're not playing well at Kansas. I can get after these guys. I can get their attention. I don't think he wanted this to play out like this, because no coach would volunteer for this. Yeah. But you take the cards you're dealt, especially in this year. And I think now, the pressure of going undefeated is gone, which Gonzaga still certainly has. But I just think that, you have to take the positives from this, and that, to me, could be a positive out of this.
I'm going to give you another positive, major positive. Baylor's players now are going to be within the 90 days.
They've all had it. Yeah, that's
best in Indianapolis. That is listen.
The only negative would be if there was some sort of coronavirus heart condition.
Right.
That would be the only thing where you could be like, all right, this is now a huge negative.
Of course.
And you're trusting in Baylor's medical staff to test those kids and be responsible and do the right thing. But all things being said, as long as the kids are safe and they pass, then that is good, because they can't get knocked out like so many other coaches are losing sleep over at night about.
The negative and the positive might be the timing in a way, right? Like, if it had happened a week or two later, you're saying, well, we don't know if Baylor's going to be themselves in Indy. You could still say that, Rob. But you're talking now, I'm going to Indy in 2.5 weeks. They'll play for their first game in the NCAA tournament will be almost 3 weeks from now. That'll be almost 4 weeks from when they came back and played their first game. They should be back.
It's an eternity in a college basketball season. 4 weeks, you've gone through a week of depression when you lose, and then you win 3 in a row, and you're like, we're the best team in the world.
Well,
college basketball is hilarious because it is the biggest roller coaster.
Are they back? Are they 100% back from COVID, from the layoff and everything? And they will be by then. By then, they should be fine. Now, again, you worry the mental part of it. If they lose another 1 or 2, do they start to kind of worry about themselves, or are they saying, we're not worried, we know Wyatt? Who knows? I mean, you lose your kind of mojo a little bit here potentially.
It had to be jarring when Lunardi's stuff comes out and you go from the number 2 1 seed to all of a sudden number 3, just because Michigan's playing so well, and just because you've had that spot solidified for the entire year. That had to at least get your attention. I'm not saying it's mentally messing with those dudes, but I know as a player that would grab me, where it's man, this is really tough timing and unfortunate this happened to us.
I will say, so I did a story on them. I don't know if you saw it last week, on how Baylor was built.
The makeup.
All 12 players. And I was just BSing with them, asking them some stuff. And I said, one of the questions I asked most of them that returned and had prominent roles last year, I said, how much are you guys on a mission this year? Because obviously you had the NCAA tournament taken away last year and a chance to win it all at Baylor. And most of them looked at me over Zoom and said, honestly, it was more the Big 12 tournament, the Big 12 title that we screwed up. Well, they thought they had it. They thought they had it. And if you remember at the end of last year, they blew it.
Yeah. Okay.
Jared Butler said that. He said, for me, it was more the Big 12 title. They want to beat Kansas. It's all about Kansas every year. And it was weird hearing it. Now, Mark Vital, I asked him that. And Mark Vital's the no BS guy, period, on the team. He was like, no. Those guys can say that all they want. For me, it was still about winning a national title. But most of
I love Vital.
Vital's, tell your Vital story.
Oh no, that was amazing. I was doing the Iowa State Baylor game early in the year in Ames, and Jalen Coleman Lands was going to block him out. Jalen Coleman Lands probably weighs what, like 180 pounds. Vital's like 250 or 260. He's a tank, and sorry, Vital's blocking Jalen Coleman Lands the other way around. And Coleman Lands, in order to move this dude, you've got to like crush him. Like you got to do something. So he runs into him like pretty hard, but again, he's a tank. He's not going to move on this. He sees the contact coming and just takes the biggest dive out of bounds. And the official buys it. He calls Jalen Coleman Lands for a foul. And Coleman Lands is kind of like pleading his case. And I'm like literally laughing on air because I think it's hilarious. I'm like, dude, he totally, that's, gamesmanship at its finest. He totally played that rough. And he sees me laughing and he winks at me. And literally just gives me this wink, which I thought was even funnier. And then at halftime, he came by the table and goes, "What'd you think of that?" I was like, man, you weigh 260 pounds. Jalen Coleman Lands weighs 190, and you're falling like you just got hit by a truck. And he's like, "Gotta get the calls," which I think is classic. I think that's awesome.
I was on like I said, I did all the Zooms, and the average is probably about 15 minutes with each guy. And they're awesome. Like their team,
they're fun to watch. Like they have a great joy for playing. And like when you go to shoot around and stuff, you see that.
So literally 45 minutes with Vital, and I could have went another 45 easy.
Yeah, he's a clown. He's really funny.
So much fun to talk to. We were talking actually. He grew up. Do you remember this name? I don't know if this guy was your. I date you with your age sometimes. I don't remember if this guy was around your age or not. Leonard Washington?
Oh, totally. I played yes, Nike All-American Camp beast.
It's a beast.
Lake Charles, Louisiana, right? Lake Charles?
Yeah, Lake Charles, same town.
Yeah, Leonard Washington. I remember him at the Nike All-American Camp my first year there. I played my way into the Nike camp from the Jamboree in St. Louis. And my team was loaded. I had Tywan Lawson, John Shire, Petey Sims, Curtis Kelly. I never shot. I was really just rebounding and passing and like
Ty Lawson, Petey Sims,
John Shire, Curtis Kelly, Gary Johnson.
Did Shire ever see the ball?
John did. I don't feel like he was like killing, but he was. I mean, he's looking at being a McDonald's All-American. He's got a big time rep as a scorer.
So they knew they had to get him the ball a little bit.
Yeah, and I think
he was like, who cares?
He knew what the camp was. I did not. I didn't like. I was lucky at the Jamboree. I played for Mike Jones out of DeMatha, and like Manny Harris was our point guard, and he was chucking. But Mike would like keep some semblance of order because he's a good high school coach. Like he knows what's going on. But at the night camp, no, it was crazy. But I remember Leonard being there. And like it was really like, dude, should he be playing football? Like, I mean, just a freaking animal.
He was a killer
animal. And I don't know why I remembered him being from Lake Charles, Louisiana, but I knew that he was from there. So when you said that, I knew that's who you were talking about.
Yeah, tough dudes. Mark Vital, Leonard Washington.
What happened to him?
Leonard, I think, is overseas. I asked Vital, and I think he's overseas. And
where did he go to school again?
So he went USC, but then he transferred to like Wyoming or something.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, he was like a big time dude out there in a camp that had D Rose and like Durant and like he was a big name though.
One of the best fights ever, AAU fights. I think he picked up a chair at half court. Yeah, like and
the all AAU fights list would be incredible to if you could get somebody to rank the top 10 like brawls at AAU tournaments nationally.
Hey, you know what? Actually, I'm writing that down for a summer project.
I hope the New York Metro Hawks and the SYF players make the list. One of our assistant coaches was ready to fight Christian Morris.
Oh, I kind of remember that. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, who the hell is fighting Christian Morris? Honestly,
I saw him tear a backboard down at the Peace Jam. He was a grown man.
Yes. Trying to think the best one I saw. I almost got in a fight with Reggie Rose.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Over what? Let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up with Bet Rivers yet, now's the time. Bet Rivers Sportsbook is offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one play through to turn your bonus into cash money. When you win at Bet Rivers Sportsbook, they pay fast. And now it's even faster. with Rush Pay instant approval for withdrawals. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable. I know because I've used it. With March Madness right around the corner, there's never been a better time to give BetRivers Sportsbook a try. Go to betrivers.com today or download the BetRivers iOS app. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
So his team was down.
This is Mean Streets?
Yeah. I don't think – no, I think it was like the Reggie Rose – the Rose All-Stars or something.
This is like pre-Derrick Rose on the Mean Streets squad.
I don't remember when it was. I think – Derrick must have been in the league. I think Derrick was in the league. Right.
Oh, okay. So he was out. Okay. Post-Derrick.
Right. So they were playing like grassroots Canada, like a good team. It might have been like Tristan Thompson and Mike Kabongo. I don't remember which group it was, but they were kicking the crap out of the Reggie Rose's team. And like Reggie Rose basically threatened to – they quit. Like there was a bad call, and he basically pulled this team off the court and quit with like, I don't know, 10 minutes left in the game. They're down 30. But my whole deal on that is, well, you never do that, number one. Second of all, there's always guys on the bench that can get a scholarship off that. So after the game, I went up to him and basically said, that's bullshit. Oh, man, it was the wrong thing to do to Reggie Rose. Like people would separate us. I actually had to walk out into the parking lot. I walked out with Buzz Williams because I was afraid to walk out by myself. I didn't know what could possibly. I needed somebody. If I was killed, I needed somebody
to vouch for your dad.
I needed somebody to be able to say, like, he was killed by whoever.
All right, let me throw this scenario out at you because we did this in the tournament. I can't believe we did it. I wish you'd been there. My last year of AAU, and this is like Etwan Moore, myself, Scott Martin, a couple other guys like Gary McGee. We won the Super Showcase in Orlando. So we went all the way. And you know how it works. If you won the Super Showcase, that means you were playing your start of pool play games for nationals the same day. And our AAU coach, Wayne Brum, had this like idea in his head that he wanted to be the first coach to ever win the Showcase and win nationals, which is like, when we won the Showcase both years I played on SYF. That's a hell of an accomplishment. That's a great tournament.
It was loaded then.
Loaded.
It was loaded.
And nationals was like a whole nother animal of teams flying in from Vegas, and
there are a million teams.
A million.
Smaller, more elite, where nationals
Showcase is on Nike. Nationals.
I could show up with a team at nationals,
yes.
And you see like me and a bunch of slapdicks playing.
Right. So we get through our pool, we win all the games, we get into like the round of 32 or 16. We're playing this team out of Cincinnati. I could not tell you their name. I could not tell you what player they had on their team. But you know how the schedule in Florida got to be. Like, you get into those dog days of the Showcase and nationals, you're playing like 2 games a day for like 3 weeks. I mean, it's physically exhausting. And so Brum scouts this team out. And again, we've got 4 top 150 kids. We've got kids going to high majors. We've got a loaded team. And he brings us into this hotel room and he's like, guys, I don't think we can beat them. I don't think we can beat this team straight up. We're too tired. And we're all looking at each other like, who are these dudes? Like,
right. We don't know a player on these.
We've heard any of these players. Like, there's nobody ranked in their team. So he gives us the game plan in this hotel room. He goes, we're going to stall. He goes, they run a 2-3 zone. They're not going to come out. We're going to stall.
All right.
So we lose the jump ball. They miss a shot. We come down, and we played 4 8-minute quarters.
Yeah.
We did a 3 at the buzzer to go up 3-0. We were literally just playing, messing around it was. I've never seen anything like it. Parents were throwing candy on the floor. It was like, I mean, there ends up we go into halftime up 11-3, and which is awesome. Again, top one. How many top 150 kids do we have? How many Division I kids do we have?
Did every coach must have been like, we're gone.
Unbelievable, right? So the best part of the story is actually the second half gets really heated. We end up beating them by 30. It is a brilliant coaching play. Like, it works out to perfection.
Wayne Brum, AAU Coach of the Year.
For this move, yes. Like, they were running the Princeton offense. They were in these crazy zones. There was like 6 techs given out in the second half. I mean, but we kill this team. And the funniest part of the story is I'm walking out with Coach Brum after the game. And he is, you know him, He is feeling himself for this performance.
He's so proud of himself for this game plan.
He's so hyped about what he just did. And I will never forget this. This is insane because, and you saying this to Reggie Rose reminded me. This dad comes up to him, and I'm walking out with him, and he goes, "Coach, with all due respect, you just cost my son a chance to play for a scholarship in front of all these coaches that were here to see your team play." Yep. And Coach Fromm goes, he looks at him and goes, "With all due respect, your son is an effing bum." He just literally crushed his father's spirit. I couldn't believe it. I was like, dude, he really doesn't care. And he honestly he's a really good coach, but he really does not care. He just murdered this man. We need to get the chalk lines out to just draw this dude on the ground who he just killed. It was incredible. I still think it's the funniest thing ever because it really did work. But he was like, I mean, parents were irate, and it was the same thing.
You'd find one of those, like every time down there in Orlando, you'd have one team that did that just held the ball. And
usually it was the team that sucked. This time it was the team that had all these good players.
Right. That's the dumbest thing ever in a way. I mean, it is, but
that's why there needs to be like a 45-second shot clock or a minute or something.
In every high school and every AAU game, there's got to be a shot clock. All right.
High school's brutal with no shot.
All right, let's move on. We got sidetracked a little.
Reggie Rose did it for us.
Yes, he definitely did. And listen, Derrick Rose, I love you, man. Your brother, I'm scared of. I'm really terrified of. But I was stupid enough to go like nose to nose with him. It was not
great. You took Buzz Williams with you.
I did, but Buzz wasn't going to protect me. I mean, we know that.
No, you just wanted like if you did get something happen to you, you wanted somebody there to vouch for it.
And to be honest, if Buzz could have gotten a player out of Reggie Rose, he would have thrown me under the bus. There's no way he would have vouched for me. It would have like, no, it never happened. Like, I never saw anything. Like, he could have shot me in the head. It wouldn't have mattered. Anyway, all right.
Luckily, his players weren't that good, apparently.
Exactly. They were not. They got blitzed. Ohio State. Are you worried? They've lost 3 straight now. And I've said it all year. And I think you agree with me to some extent. Like, Chris Holtmann has done a hell of a job maximizing the talent on this team. They're really, if you go by pure talent, Rob,
yep,
they're like a top, I don't know, 25 team, aren't they?
Yeah, they've totally played above their level. I mean, Coach Holtmann has coached them up, and Liddell has become a real player. Dwayne Washington's become a real player. But I think when you look at their overall talent compared to Michigan, they're not better than them.
Close.
I think Illinois, they're not better than them. Now they've beaten them, and they got a monster one against them on Saturday. But you look at the 3 teams they've lost to. You lose to Michigan, best game of the year. No shame. I was impressed with their loss to Michigan, honestly. I really was.
They were great.
Michigan State, Benetti and I had the game.
Yeah.
The officials really let them play. I mean, really let them play. And I know that this isn't going to be a popular take amongst Ohio State fans, but to me, all you ask for is consistency. And A.J. Liddell is doling it out just as much as those dudes.
Oh, he was.
I just don't know how you officiate.
Yeah.
He is crushing guys,
Yep.
So I think the call or the no call on Dwayne Washington's drive into the game, bad no call. Have to call it. Got to go to overtime. Today you lose to Iowa. I think because it's at home, it's concerning because you score 57 points. Yeah, it's concerning. Did Kyle Young play? I didn't get to watch because I was doing
the. He didn't play much. He didn't.
Okay, so that's certainly he's just like the glue guy. He is the glue that holds their team together. He's not back to 100%. So yeah, I mean, I'm not concerned. Those are 3 pretty good teams, and Michigan State's playing for their lives. That was the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl for Michigan State starts again on Tuesday with Indiana. But I would not say I'm concerned. I just think that this is kind of like water finding its level.
I would agree. All right. I asked you to come up with 2 things. We'll start with the positive here, I guess. The team outside of the top 3 that you would pick, that you have the utmost faith in. Who is that team not named Gonzaga, Baylor, or Michigan?
I wanted to pick nobody, but I figured you'd make me pick somebody.
Yes, I am.
So I'm going to go with West Virginia.
Okay.
They've won 6 of 7. One loss comes to Oklahoma in double overtime, who was playing really well at the time. You know, Sheboy leaves and Culver all of a sudden has all this space to play.
Yep.
I really like Deuce McBride. I love Hugs as a coach. I just think he gets those guys and he understands how to get them to play at a high level. And offensively, they've been better. You know, they've been so much better post Sheboy. So I'm going to go with West Virginia. Again, I wanted to pick nobody, but I knew you'd make me pick somebody, so I'm going with them.
I'm going to stay in the Big 12, and I'm going to let you guess who I'm going to pick, and you're going to get it wrong.
If you pick Kansas, that is classic.
I'm not going to pick Kansas.
Texas Tech?
Nope.
Not Texas.
Yep.
What?
I'm picking the Texas Longhorns.
Why?
I don't know. Again, like you,
I
do know why. I do know why. Why is because I think they have a ton of talent.
They do have that.
They're so talented up front, and their pieces up front really, really, to me, complement each other. All three of those bigs are very different, right? Jericho Sims, Kai Jones, Greg Brown.
Yep.
I mean, who else has three of those dudes, Rob? Nobody.
High-level athletes,
Nobody.
high-level skill guys.
Nobody.
But they don't look like the same team over the last month.
They haven't. They got a little bit back on track, and they've got veteran guards. They've got veteran guards.
Each other in the huddle at West Virginia.
Listen, you never fought Etuan Moore? You never wanted to kick his ass?
We have had verbal arguments. I never had to be held back from trying to fight him in a huddle. That's some Minnesota Timberwolves stuff from when I was there. That's what that is. That's some packing and Wolves stuff.
Who did that? Who did that in Minnesota? Can you say? No. You don't want to say?
I can't say who did, but
if I looked at that roster that year, I guarantee I could pick it out.
Easily. You would totally get it. But that's what bad. Like, I'm not saying you can't have arguments. I'm not saying you can't have verbal disagreements, but to have it come to a point where two of your players are ready to fight each other on national television, to me, is a problem.
But a problem that can be fixed. A problem that can be fixed.
I love your optimism. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I think they can, they can have like a kumbaya moment and
hash it out.
Get them
together and get them right.
I mean, like, how hard is it? I mean, it's probably over a girl.
That hard, as long as
Bob, it was probably over a girl.
Punch somebody. What?
You know that it was probably over a girl.
There's no way it was over a chick.
Every disagreement is about a chick.
Not mid-game. If they got into it before practice, maybe I would agree with that. I give it a 0% chance. 0%. That fight was over a girl at that point in the game. It was over. I guarantee it was over somebody botching like a pick and roll coverage or not doing what they were supposed to, like blowing in multiple assignments. That's what that was. If it was over a girl, then they have super problems.
When Texas is in the Final Four, I'm going to ask him if it was about a girl.
Okay, I cannot wait. I know it's not about a girl.
All I'll say is, listen, here's my question to you. Manscaped has partnered with Goodman and Hummel to provide my listeners with an exclusive 20% off discount using the code Hummel at manscaped.com to make sure that you don't ruin any spring break or summertime vibes with pubes peeking out of your swimsuit. So before we get back to the show, let me tell you a little bit about their Perfect Package 3.0 kit. It starts with the Lawnmower 3.0, their third generation trimmer that features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. You don't want to worry about nicking the goods while you're trying to clean up down there. Feel confident shaving your balls with the Lawnmower 3.0. In addition to the new blade, the Lawnmower 3.0 comes with an LED light for a more precise trim, and it's waterproof, so you can take the groom into the shower. Truth be told, you don't want to be using the same trimmer in your balls as on your face. The Perfect Package 3.0 also comes with a crop preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant moisturizer, and the crop preserver, which keeps the goods from sticking to your leg. Plus, Manscaped threw in a couple of free gifts. The Shed Travel Bag, a $39 value, and the patented chafe-free Manscaped boxers. So get 20% off and free shipping right now with that code Hummel at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com with the code Hummel. Your balls will thank you. How many rosters would you take over Texas?
Not many. Michigan, Baylor, Gonzaga.
Who else? Give me one other.
Off the top of my head, Illinois.
Maybe.
Talent. If you're taking talent and that's it, I would take Illinois over them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm probably with you, but what I'll say is also you've got so many veterans, guards and wings on this Texas team. You know, Andrew Jones, 4 years. Matt Coleman, 4 years. Courtney Ramey's a junior. Like, I don't know, Rob. Like, I'm not, again, we all worry about shot.
I mean, we're talking about the elite teams of college basketball. Gonzaga, Michigan, Baylor are no-brainers, and Illinois, I think, is as talented as almost anybody. I think they lack discipline a lot of the time, but they're very talented.
Illinois fans are going to kill you.
Watch the game. Like, watch DeMonte Williams get a tech up 3 in one of the stupidest plays I've ever seen. And I honestly think he's, for the most part, a very smart player.
That was a bonehead play, though.
He's lucky that Alonzo Tucker got zapped with the double technical foul. Otherwise, whoa.
What was Alonzo Tucker? I'd love to know what Alonzo Tucker said.
You'll never know. He was the masked man.
I would love to know. I know. That is the downside. You can't go back and slow-mo it and replay it and figure it out.
Yeah. But yeah, that play sums up just the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Just win the game.
All right, so you think I'm nuts for having Texas. You went with West Virginia. I almost went with West Virginia. I almost did. Deshaun will be happy with you. All right, the team that you have no faith in, a top team, like a top 25 team that you have no faith in, Robbie Hummel. I know that. I mean, I've known this all season long, and you're ready to say, I told you so. Because early on, I said, I told you so. And now I'm –
I believe it was right around Christmas when the Badgers rolled into East Lansing and got a big win on Christmas Day.
And you even said, you're like, Jeff, you were right.
Did I?
You did. You did.
I think I might have been like, let's see how the season plays
out.
No,
you were right. Like I was wrong about Wisconsin.
I did say that you were right about the experience mattering as much.
Coming out of the gates. Right.
Yeah.
Coming out of the gates, they were good because they had everybody back.
Right. They have a lot of guys caught up with them. And they have solid players.
Yes.
But I just think that, when you look at Wisconsin, I just don't think the playmaking is there. I think that there's too many guys that are one-dimensional. They depend on Dimitri Trice at the end of shot clock so much. He has so much put on his shoulders. And when you compare them to the better teams in the Big Ten and the better teams in college basketball, I just really struggle to pick them. I really do.
Yeah, mine, I'm trying to find somebody. It's not easy. I mean, you go to the back half of the top 25, it's easy. I'd say like Tennessee right now.
Totally.
Like that's an easy one. To me, I start, Rob, like the thing I think you have to start with in the tournament is point guard play, right? Yep. Like that's where I start. And obviously you look at these teams, Gonzaga, Baylor, Michigan, Illinois, Villanova's is good. Alabama worries me.
Let me throw out Creighton. I know that they've won 4 or 5, but they lose to Xavier. Like, I just think that they're not disappointing on the season. I just think that I thought they'd be better.
Me too.
Which I guess does mean disappointing a little bit, but
I guess I still say Kansas worries me. Like, I just think that they worry me because of their point guard play, Rob. I do.
Marcus Garrett's not a point guard.
Right. I mean, Bill Self's a hell of a coach. Can they get to the Sweet 16? Can they get to the Final Four? Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's that good a coach to mask their deficiencies.
People don't give him that credit. They really don't understand. Like, just watch a game, and every after timeout play, they get great shots. He's afraid of nothing. Like the fact that I've been triangle and two'd in an NCAA tournament game by Bill Self in Kansas. If you told me that in high school, I would have been like, yeah, I get triangle and two'd by Hobart High School. with me and my high school teammate Scott Martin. You know, like there's no way I will ever in my lifetime see Kansas do some stuff like that. And he did.
He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't.
Whatever it takes. He's a beast.
So I don't know. I mean, another team that I'm kind of, and you had them today. Another team that I'm not sure about is Houston because of their level of competition has been so lackluster since the first week of the season.
They play so hard.
Well, Kelvin's a great coach, but can they score?
I really wonder, though, when you get into like tournament play and you're going up against somebody that has like, Illinois size or Ohio State's physicality or Baylor's size all across the board, can you really crush them on the glass like that?
No.
You know who's been killing, and he's a great story, and he's flying under the radar, is Quentin Grimes.
Oh, he's been great.
The last 5 games, he came into today averaging, last 4, I think he's averaging 24 points a game. He's shooting 47 from the field, 50 from 3. He has been on fire. And today,
I'm so happy for him.
He hit one from the logo. His 6-3 of the first half. He's on. You have to go check it out. He shot it from the right bottom corner of the, I think it's the H. And
really,
he made a 33-foot shot 3-point field goal today. It was awesome. I mean, you've got to check it out.
What's cool about that, Rob?
It's a great story.
It's a great story. I remember I was there at Champions Classic.
He was killing there too.
Remember, he was like 5 of 7 from 3. Yeah. I went up to him after the game, and I had seen him play enough in AAU, so I knew he wasn't really that type of shooter at that point. And I said, I'm like, hell of a game, huh? And he just looked at me and kind of smiled like, yeah, that ain't my game right now. Now, again, he's gotten so much.
Now it is. I mean, he's shooting the ball so well with so much confidence. He's
a great kid.
Bounce, like
super kid. Like Bill Self didn't want to lose him at Kansas, but like he just wasn't good enough then, and he thought he was one and done. So I think the blame game starts a little bit, right? Like
Kelvin gives him a good amount of freedom. He lets his guards go. Look at Eric Gordon. Look at Hollis Price. Like.
Yep.
He's let those guys play. I think the big question mark, and he did not play well today, is Marcus Sasser.
Yeah.
That's going to be, can you get a reliable second scorer? Because right now in the American, they just murder people on the glass. They're behind Carolina barely in offensive rebound percentage. Wow. They crush on the glass. Justin Gorham is an animal on the offensive boards. Yeah. But you're talking about the best teams with elite size, and I just don't know if you don't have Grimes and Sasser going. And I really like their point guard too, Dejan Giroux.
He's big. He can't shoot, but he does everything else.
He's shooting 35 from 3.
Is he?
Yeah, he made 2 or 3 today. Really fills the stat sheet. But yeah, I like their team, but I think that there's a legitimate concern about coming out of the American.
All right, we're gonna finish up with a little game, Rob. To stay or go. Okay, nice. To stay or go, and it's like putting you in the hot seat.
Yeah,
and you're not gonna have fun with this game, I know that, but we're gonna play it anyway.
Okay.
All right. As a Purdue guy, I'm gonna start with your rival, the program you despise. You hate them. Archie Miller at Indiana. They are absolutely struggling. They were gonna get in the tournament last year, but sneak in.
Right.
You got them Tuesday. It's probably like the make or break game to
Super Bowl for both teams.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl.
Yeah. But, Tom Izzo is not going to lose his job if he doesn't win that game. He's going to be
pressures are different.
He may not get to 23 straight NCAA tournament appearances, but I love Arch. I do. I'll say it straight out. Like I've known Arch for 15, 20 years, and I think he's a really good coach.
I do too.
I just don't think they have enough talent in Bloomington.
Yeah. I mean, their guard play is like Jekyll and Hyde. Al Durham, one game is good. The next game, he's not. Rob Finney has lost all confidence. Armand Franklin's out, with a foot. It baffles me, Jeff, because I grew up in the state. And I've said this so many times this year. I grew up in the state of Indiana, and I understand how much people in that state take pride in shooting the basketball from the perimeter. Like it's literally all people care about, like everybody can shoot in Indiana.
Yep.
And I know that people down in Bloomington they go to those like Bloomington South, Bloomington North high school basketball games. They're like, I'm watching kids shoot 45% from three from the high school line. And not that translates to Big Ten, but it's still just, it eats at them. I know it does because they take pride in that, you know? Like think about Bobby Knight's teams. They could really shoot. There's a reason for it. The state is great at it. You know, Indiana's lost 4 in a row. They've lost 5 of 6. You mentioned it. He would have made one NCAA tournament in 4 years. From a performance standpoint, I think Archie Miller would say, I am not getting it done. I am not doing what I was brought here to do.
He'd have to say that.
He'd have to, unless, you know, otherwise it would be a lie.
You're 12-12 and you're 7-10 in the league. And the only teams you're looking at, you know, down at are Minnesota, Penn State, Northwestern, and Nebraska.
Right. But at the end of the day,
yep,
Indiana owes him $10 million.
It's a lot of money.
If they fire him this year.
Yeah.
That is legitimate money.
Yeah.
So barring Mark Cuban or some other random Indiana donor that I don't know their name, I think he stays. Now, I think that his performance probably doesn't warrant that. And I think that he would even say that because I'm the same way. I've known Archie since he recruited me at NC State as an assistant. I played against him when he was an assistant at Ohio State. I really think highly of him. I thought highly of his Dayton teams. When they hired him, I thought it was a great hire because I was like, he's going to get them to play the right way and bring in his guys and they'll guard you and, you know, do all that. I think the $10 million keeps him around for one more chance next year. Now, if Trace Jackson Davis leaves, I have no idea how he's going to right the ship with that group.
Well, you know what? The only thing, Rob, the only saving grace for somebody like him next year is the one-time transfer rule.
Yeah.
That comes in, which it's probably going to. It opens it up. It just opens it up, and that's how you're going to be able to kind of change your fortune quickly.
Right.
You get a couple. Look at Louisville with Carlik Jones, right? You get one of those, and then add a couple more pieces and bring it. I mean, I had a coach tell me today, and he goes, "Listen, I'm done recruiting high school guys."
That is insane.
I'm not recruiting.
It's honestly sad. That is very sad to hear.
I get it, but
major.
Yeah, it's a high major, an assistant for a top 20 team right now.
You're telling me that if he could go get a guy like OJ Mayo.
Well, he's not getting that. Okay, he's not a Kentucky.
You're telling me you could go get a kid like Evan Turner, 50th ranked player in the class of 07, potential to be a pro, oozing potential, and he has an in on him. He's not going to recruit him.
He said, listen, I'm focused on transfers because they're going to help me win right away.
I am disgusted by hearing that.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm just telling you what he said. And
don't shoot the messenger, huh?
That's right. I mean, people do all the time. But anyway, all right, Archie, for me, boy, this is a tough one. It's a tough one for me. I'd probably give him one more year. I give him one more year and see because, again, my take on a lot of these is you're coaching in a pandemic. It's
been the weirdest year ever.
Yeah, it's just not fair. Now, again, I don't think they have enough talent right now either, right? I don't think they have enough talent.
But I don't know if I hear what you're saying. Armand Franklin is a good player.
He is.
Al Durham on certain nights is a good player. Rob Finney, I think, has the talent to be a good player and used to be a good player.
Yeah.
You know, I think that
they're solid. They're solid, Rob, but they don't have
no, they're not special by any means, but they haven't developed, you know, and I guess who does that fall on? That falls on the coach.
I would say this, when you look at talent, again, if you're ranking Indiana in terms of talent in the Big Ten, where do they rank? That's how I'll ask you the question. Where do they rank?
Behind Michigan, obviously, behind Illinois, behind Iowa.
Purdue's talent compared to Indiana's. What do you think?
Purdue's young talent is night and day ahead of Indiana's.
Yes.
And well, I mean, I guess Travion Williams and Trace Jackson Davis are a wash. I would probably say
Ohio State.
Ohio State's more talented. Wisconsin.
It's a wash. But
I would say Wisconsin is equally as talented as Indiana, or around that.
Yeah, I would agree.
So I mean, I would say they're middle of the road. They're middle of the road of the conference.
Can't be that if you're Indiana.
That's true.
Can't be that. I mean, unfortunately, the expectations are and they're not wrong. Like, again, I said it the other day, like if you're an Indiana fan, you're saying like we should be in the tournament 4 out of every 5 years.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I'm not saying that it's 1980s Bobby Knight,
No.
but they should be going to the tournament most years, and maybe if you're rebuilding every 5th or 6th year.
Exactly.
But I do think that there's a good amount of their fan base that thinks that it still should be, 80s Indiana.
Yeah,
that's just not
delusional.
That's not the case. Like the state gets rated talent-wise by so many different people. All those kids aren't going to Indiana anymore. They used to get almost everybody. And I think Purdue kind of got the second tier, and Gene Katie just coached them up and whatnot. But and like there's exceptions to that. Glenn Robinson was not second tier in the state of Indiana, obviously.
No.
He was pretty good. But yeah, it's not the 80s anymore, and I think they have a hard time, some of their fans, coming to terms with that.
Bracket Fanatics is your one-stop site for the NCAA tournament in 2021. Bracket Fanatics is the only social app that can manage your bracket and bracket pool while also letting you send and accept payouts each round of the tournament with every player in your bracket group. Here's how it works. Bracket commissioners determine the rules, entry fee, and payouts for the bracket pool. Bracket Fanatics ensures funds are collected from each player and distribute pool payout to winners once the tournament ends. After you register, set up your bracket group, pick your teams, invite your friends, while the real-time leaderboard tracks wins and points earned for your entire bracket group. It's a true social networking app where we can talk smack, which I will do absolutely with you, Rob, once the tournament starts. Unlike others in the space, Bracket Fanatics has no banner ads. They won't sell your email address or bombard you with unwanted ads. You can still join Bracket Fanatics once the tournament has started, and it's free. So assemble your crew. Sign up now at bracketfanatics.com. Don't forget to use the code MADNESS to be entered into their $1,000 giveaway. It's awarded at the end of the tournament to the player in bracket with the most wins throughout the dance. Only those using the code will be entered. Once again, pull up your favorite browser and visit bracketfanatics.com and use that code MADNESS. All right, we'll move on in the Big Ten. We'll stay in the Big Ten. And the Minnesota Golden Gophers are 13-12 overall, 6-12 in conference play, and have been absolutely disastrous lately. They've lost 5 in a row. They've lost 8 of the last 10.
Last 2 lost to Northwestern and at Nebraska. So you've lost to the 2 bottom feeders of the league. You have no road wins, and you've been to 2 NCAA tournaments in 8 years. Let me ask you this question before I get going.
Sure.
If you fire Richard,
yep,
and I think super highly of him. I think he's awesome to talk to. I think he's a good coach. I enjoy being around him. Who would you bring in where you feel like you're really upgrading? Like who do you think Minnesota goes and gets? That
here's the name.
It's way better.
Here's the X factor name.
Mark Few.
The X factor name. No, we're not going there. The names that'll be thrown around are like Nico Medved, Craig Smith, guys like that. The X factor name, and his father coached at Minnesota, is Eric Musselman. Would he leave Arkansas? I don't know. I don't know what his buyout is.
Built a pretty good thing there. I mean,
but if you're him, would you rather live in Fayetteville, Arkansas? Would you rather? Minnesota's got a shit ton of talent in that state every year now.
Yeah.
Every year. I'm not saying they could get him. I'm saying if you threw enough money at him, could you make him think about it? Could you possibly get him?
The problem with Minnesota is all those kids in Minneapolis that come out, it feels like they just have 1 or 2 guys every year that are so highly recruited.
Right.
Tyus Jones.
Yes.
Everybody was recruiting him. That's not fair. And then Wisconsin has just decimated the Twin Cities by getting good Minneapolis kids.
Yep.
They really have. Bo Ryan started it. Greg Gard's kept it going. I struggle with that. If you can get Eric Musselman, that's a good hire. But again, the University of Minnesota came out and said that they are going to have a $40 to $60 million shortfall this year in their athletic department. That is a substantial amount of money.
Yes.
You look at Richard Pitino's deal. He's got 3 more years, If he's fired before April 30th, he's got a $1.75 million buyout. That's not horrible, but when you're looking at that shortfall, that is a lot.
Look at you being a reporter today.
He's also got a $400,000 retention bonus if he is kept past April 30th. See, I'm just showing how easy it is to report on college hoops.
It really is. Yes.
This is what you do, and I just knocked all this out. You know, they're also cutting men's tennis, gymnastics, and track and field this year.
So how's it going to
None
look?
of those things, I just don't see them firing him. I think they go one more year. They've got some decent players. I mean, they did beat they beat Ohio State. They crushed Michigan State, who at the time, that looked like it was a really big deal and kind of isn't anymore. But
could you see this, Rob?
They beat Iowa too. It's like I don't get the road stuff, especially in a year when there's no fans in there. Like, that is crazy to me. And Marcus Carr has been like an All-American at home and not even third team All Big Ten on the road. That's concerning. No road wins. But I wouldn't, I said I wouldn't fire Archie. I think I'd give Richard one more year too, when you understand what the university's financial situations are. And Eric Musselman would be a good hire. He's won pretty much everywhere that he's been. But I don't know if he's coming. He just got there.
Yeah, he may not. He may not.
And Minneapolis is a great city to live in. Now, it's freezing in the wintertime, but the summers are amazing. It's got great restaurants. It's a very pro sports town. Yeah. It's an interesting, the Vikings are big, obviously. The Twins are huge. The Timberwolves are kind of just there. And the Wild is a big deal too.
You mean everybody wasn't asking for your autograph when you walked down downtown?
I could go pretty much wherever I wanted in Minneapolis, and no one would talk to me.
No one ever bothered you. You never signed an autograph outside of the arena.
Maybe occasionally, but for the most part, no. I think that you'd be surprised though with NBA guys, how many guys, even though the height gives you away, outside of the superstars, it's really not that bad.
Yeah.
It's worse in college because you're in a town where
everybody
in West Lafayette, and basketball is huge. So there it's pictures and signing stuff and but
I would make a move. If I was Mark Coyle at Minnesota. And if I'm Richard Pitino, I'm getting the hell out of there now. Yeah. I'm trying to get New Mexico. I don't know if he can go to BC. Here to Boston, the Pitino name doesn't exactly ring all that well out this way.
Yeah.
But Richard grew up here. He did. He grew up here. So who knows? Again, I don't know. I just feel like, at this point, it's just like he's running in quicksand there, and you're going to be on the hot seat every year. I honestly feel like if I'm Richard Pitino, I might just all right, fire me. I'm going to go do TV and maybe I'll get a better job in a year.
He'd be good because he's really funny.
He's hilarious.
He's really funny.
Yes.
I really enjoy his just talking to him, shoot around.
Sarcasm. His sarcasm is off the chart.
He's a good time.
Yeah. I'd rather see him on TV than on the sidelines, to be honest. I think we need Richard Pitino on TV. He's very entertaining. So I think it's honestly best for both sides to work something out there and move on. I just, again, I don't see it getting much better. All right, we'll run through a couple others here, and then we'll call it a day. Bruce Weber. Nobody has seen more of Kansas State in Bruce Weber this year than Robbie Hummel. Nobody.
I'm like their home radio crew at this point.
Pretty much
seen him a million times. I would not fire Bruce Weber.
$2 million. He's owed $2 million.
And it's not even about the money. I talked about the money with Indiana and Minnesota.
Yeah,
they're playing better, and they have a ton of young players.
Listen, I haven't seen.
I would know.
Once.
They've won 2 or 3. They win at TCU. They beat Oklahoma in a really good win.
I saw a little bit of that. A little bit. I won't lie. I saw a little bit.
I got to see it up close and personal. He's not that far removed from being on the doorstep of the Final Four. What, 3 years? 2 years?
Yeah.
That was the Barry Brown and Dean Wade and Kamal Stokes teams. This year has certainly not been easy, but they've made progress.
They were 14-4 in 18 and 19, they were 14-4 and tied for first in the league. So they went to the Elite Eight in 17, 18, and
won the league 2 years ago.
2 years ago,
and then had a catastrophic injury derail it with Dean Wade.
Right. So the last 2 years have been atrocious.
And they've been bad. They were bad last year. They're bad.
How good is their young talent, Rob? How good is their young talent?
I like him. I think the big kid Davion Bradford is solid. He's huge.
Yeah,
and he's gotten a lot better. Their guards. Deshaun Gordon is a sophomore, good rebounder. He hasn't shot well from three this year. Nigel Pack would be the one where you're like, he is their best freshman.
What are they missing?
Experience. They're missing some shot making, and they turn the ball over like it's insane, like it's on fire. Like you'd think the basketball is flames coming out of it with the way they take care of the ball sometimes. Which for a Bruce Weber coach team is
shocking.
Right. But they do really guard you. They guard you like crazy. They've got to find some people that can make some shots. They got a kid named Selton Miguel that can make plays, but there's times where it's like, man, Selton, he makes two good plays in a row and then makes two plays where you're like, oh my God. But I wouldn't fire Bruce. I think he's done too much good. I think they've got better this year.
Yeah, 2 horrible years, but 2 really good years before that. To me, you give him one more year and see what he can do with this group as they get a little bit older. All right, Steve Prohm, next one.
Yeah.
They've been atrocious this year, Rob.
Yeah, this is hard.
One of the nicest human beings you will ever meet.
So nice. I always really enjoy doing their games because he gives you whatever you want. He's honest.
Yep.
He's a really good guy. He's a good guy. 2-18, 0-15 in the Big 12. 18-49 in the Big 12 the last 4 years.
Yeah.
He's got a $5 million buyout. So
6. I think it's actually ending up. It will be 6 if they fire him.
All right, so my reporting skills aren't as good as I once thought. I was off.
They're pretty good. Listen, you're in the ballpark.
I mean, supposedly they've got a $25 million shortfall. They're also paying their football coach $3.5 million a year. They just re-upped him. I will say this: their fan base is not pleased, and they expect Freddie Hoiberg-like results there. I think he got hurt by some of those guys he recruited. He never thought they'd be pros in a year or 2 years. Like he thought he'd have Taylor Horton Tucker for probably this year. And when did he go pro? 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Yeah.
He probably thought maybe this year he'd leave. And
that group 2 years ago, that was the problem, is they all bolted.
I know. And they all something happened end of the year. Because I saw them a lot that year.
Yeah.
Early and middle of the season, they were awesome. And then I don't know if the NBA kind of agents or family or just the whole idea that I got to get mine kind of derailed the team. But yeah, that was a weird ending to that season. And then
remember Wigington was hurt. Then he came back.
Yeah. And then Cam Lard was suspended and then not. And then he was talk about talented. Cam Lard was good.
Yeah, he was. He got booted.
So I really like him.
Yep.
But man, looking at that roster, it's tough. That is really
might be time. It might be time for Steve Prohm. The question will be, who do you get there? And TJ Otzelberger will be the name. UNLV head coach.
Would Fred Hoiberg go back?
His buyout is $10 million, I think.
So they can't afford him.
I was told the buyout's insane. So
if it wasn't, would he go?
Yeah, I'm sure.
After 2 years at Nebraska, you think he'd be like, all right, I tried this. I think
going home again. Yeah, I'm going back home. I do. All right. So we hit on those.
Hold on really quick. Then would it make sense to keep Prohm and be like, let's fight through and let the buyout drop?
Right. Wait,
that's a very hypothetical, and fans are not going to put up with just getting steamrolled if the team's not any good for the next 3 years waiting for that. But
the hard part is they've been good for a while. Iowa State had a run there.
Oh, they have a great tradition. And they have a passionate fan base and a great home court advantage. There's a lot of positives about Iowa State.
All right, last thing before we go. Is there any doubt now in your mind that Cade Cunningham is the number 1 overall pick? Any doubt whatsoever?
No. No
Why?
doubt. I think he's just a no-brainer. I think his floor is so high. I think he's pretty much good at everything.
Yep.
I think the pro game suits him so well because, he makes the right play every time. And people have been critical of that. If you show him two bodies, he's going to pass. And you've heard it on every –
I love it, Rob.
No, I do too. I respect it. He does not care what anybody says about, the way he's playing. You need to shoot more. You need to be more aggressive early in games. No, I don't. Good for him.
Yep.
Good for him for not giving a shit. Because most kids would be like, oh, I need to shoot more? Okay,
Exactly.
Check this one out. I'm about to get these things up. But he plays pick and roll. He can post you. He uses his size at such a high level. He can get to his pull-up whenever he wants. I just think he's going to be a really good NBA player. I think his floor is so high at that level. And I think the way he plays now may not be the best for Oklahoma State at times. I think they need him to be more aggressive sometimes. But it's the best for Cade Cunningham down the line when he's throwing to pros. And, I think he's definitely the favorite and really a no-brainer for the number one pick.
I do too. I mean, for a minute, I thought like Jalen Suggs might give him a run, but it was almost more of like, wow, like Suggs is way better than I thought he was.
Yeah.
And now
and he's so athletic and he plays so hard. And
yeah. And I love Suggs and I love Mobley. I actually think all three, you get the 1, 2, 3 pick, you're going to be pretty happy this year. And maybe 4, 5 with Jalen Green and Kuminga or somebody else in the G League Ignite team. But to me, Cade is the ultimate no-brainer right now. He can make people better. He can play bully ball. He can shoot it. He'll get better as a 3-point shooter because he'll work.
He's shooting over 40 this year too. And that line moving back makes a difference, but he's got a good looking stroke.
His poise. I think here's the thing. His poise to me, that stands out over everything else.
Yeah.
Like guys will blitz him, Rob, and he never gets rattled. Never.
He's super in control.
Yep.
It never feels like he's out of control.
Never. I mean, he'll make mistakes.
Yeah. No, everybody does. But it just feels like nobody is really speeding him up.
Right.
Like nobody is making him play out of his comfort zone. He just kind of rolls along. And I want to ask you, because this is going to get brought up. When do we have to apologize about LaMelo Ball just killing?
Yeah, no, now. Right now.
I will say this. I was blinded by my dislike for his dad.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
If you were blinded by your dislike of his dad, how do you think I felt?
Yeah, I mean, he dragged you to Lithuania and then
yes,
did you dirty. But yeah. I apologize. I was wrong. He is a really good pro. He's going to be a really good pro,
and he's fun to watch, Rob.
And he's electric with the basketball. So I'll take that one. Somebody tweeted that at us like a few weeks ago. I figured we're talking NBA draft. We might as well just get it out of the way right now. So.
And you know what? The part that I wasn't sure, the shot still is a little bit inconsistent, but whatever. I think he'll work on that when he has a full off season. The part that I wasn't sure was that I think and I've texted with a couple teammates, guys on that team. They like playing with him. You know why? Because he gets him the damn ball all the time. He's not jacking crazy shots. He's looking pass before he's looking score. And in that league, that's all they want, right?
No doubt. Who can set me up to get buckets?
Yep. So, all right, there you have it. Another edition of the Goodman and Hummel podcast in the books. Make sure you join us next week again. We may or may not have a guest. This went pretty well. We told some stories about AAU stories and a little bit you kept Archie Miller. So we'll make sure you subscribe though. Make sure you subscribe to the pod wherever you get your pods, and hopefully you like my new background.
Love it. That's great.
All right, there you have it.